So Thevaranchan from CNRS will be presenting the Brahma tool, which is a simplifying access of machine learning and data treatment. So Deva, if you're ready to share your slides, then the floor is yours.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to present Brahma. Brahma is a simplified access to machine learning and data processing. So today at this TechUp, you will learn how Brahma works, its actual stage and future perspective. So I'm gonna start with the context, then present the tool, its architecture, and with some results. And finally, I will conclude. SREP Ecotron Île-de-France is a research laboratory created by CNRS and École Normale Supérieure, PSL, is where we developed Brahma. We have a team of around 30 people with several experimental platforms, and one of them is the Ecotron. Ecotron is the platform of climate cells. We have a total of 18 cells, and these are totally closed and controlled environment where we can place an ecosystem of aquatic or terrestrial type. And then we can simulate a specific climate inside by controlling almost all the parameters of climate, such as temperature from -10 to 45 degrees Celsius, humidity, CO2, lights, etc., etc. Digital twin is a virtual copy of a physical system. We can create that by using data collected from the real system, and usually we use it to optimize the system or to predict future failures. Machine learning is a field of artificial intelligence. It's when a model can learn from data. We have several ways to train a model. Supervised learning is when a model can learn with labeled data. Unsupervised learning with unlabeled data. Reinforcement learning is usually used in robotics. It's when a model can learn something by receiving a reward or a penalty for its actions. Then we have a deep learning. Is a part of machine learning. It's when a model uses neural networks to learn from data. Then we have different type of neural networks. The MLP, the classic one, multi-layer perceptron. It uses basic tabular data. And then we have recurrent neural network. It uses time series data, like audio, video, or climate data. Then convolutional neural networks for the image recognitions. This is essential, no need to go further. And so the problem is that heat pumps, a key component of a climate cells, are starting to fail. Each pump is connected up to 3 climate cells and provide heating and cooling. Here you can see that one of the heat pump is starting to fail, and it has a direct impact on the climate cell. If we do not fix it quickly, it can impact the experiment. And we also notice that this type of issues often happen on Fridays, but the reason is still unknown. So our starting idea was to create a digital twin for a climate cell. And if it works, we can extend this approach to all the components and sensors for each climate cells. By doing this, we can try to simulate the entire system, and this can allow us to run a virtual test to identify the key component have the most impact on failures, and also to understand the key parameter to monitor it. And then if these steps work, we can also create a twin for the ecosystems, and this will allow us to simulate the entire experiment before launching it in real conditions. However, this approach has several challenges because we have lots of components and sensors for each climate cells. So it makes the process complex. We have lots of data. It can take lots of times, and most specifically, it requires most coding skills for collect the data, to analyze it, to treat it, to clean it, train a model, test, and choose the best models, etc. So the solution we found is the Brahma, a user-friendly tool that can take a data from a climate cell, an ecosystem, or any type of data such as climate data, and it can automatically generate a model based on the database and allow us to use this model without requiring coding skills. So this is the basic idea of Brahma. And then we added two more steps to the data processing and model testing. This is the architecture of Brahma. Users can upload different type of data sets such as text, CSV, Excel, XML, Parquet, etc. And also the images and models as zip file. Then we have a driver inside can understand the structure of your dataset and convert them to a CSV file. This helps us to automate many pre-processing steps. And once you added all your files and dataset in your workspace, you can start to treat that with some functions here. You can drop column, add date time feature, filter your dataset, or resample. This can allow us to filter and resample because some people have a date and time column separately with different names. So this function can help us to filter and resample easily. Encoder for the text column, and you can clean your dataset with drop missing, interpolate, or fill with min. And then you can save your modifications. And here you have some functions to visualize and analyze your dataset with heat map, histogram, scatter, etc. And 2D PCA to visualize all your dataset in 2 dimensions. And you have an option to combine that with the k-means model to cluster your dataset with different colors. And you have a feature importance to get it use a random forest model to get a mostly used feature for simulate the target. After the data processing step, you can start to create your model. And once you enter in the machine learning process, your CSV file will be automatically cleaned with drop missing function. It's just for a little security. Then you have some options to choose here to select your model. If you want to do a deep learning or machine learning, supervised learning or unsupervised learning. And if you have image data or time series data or tabular data. Then you can start to train your model with a default parameters of the model, or you can customize more your model with advanced option. So each models have their own parameters to configure, and also some general parameters such as normalizer to the dataset, add the PCA model to redimension your dataset. You can add this to the pipeline, or loss. You can customize the loss function, and you can add an early stop epoch for the deep learning process. Then the process can take 80% of your data set to the training process and 20% to the testing process. And for each epoch, the loss functions and metrics will be automatically saved in the metadata. This can allow us to visualize it as plot after the training. And after that, the testing process will be automatically launched, and you can get the metrics, and it will automatically save in the metadata. And your model also will be automatically saved as joblib for machine learning and Keras for deep learning. Then once your model is saved in your workspace, you can select your model to run a new test with another data set. This step, you can visualize it as a validation test of your model. Then you can get a plot by comparing the model's prediction with the true value. This with metrics, this can help us to understand more the performance of the model, and the result will be automatically saved also in the metadata. And this can allow us to compare your model's performance between other CSV files. And you can also use your model, and you can get the CSV file with the input value of the CSV file you used, and models predictions as an output value, and it will generate CSV file automatically. You can export that. In actual version of Brahma, you can get only a CSV file. We have to upgrade that. And you can also export your model to run it in other environment or other projects. That's it. Here are some technologies we use for this project. We developed Brahma with Python, TensorFlow, Keras for the deep learning process, scikit-learn for machine learning, Pandas and NumPy for data processing steps, Matplotlib and SharpJS for the plots, Flask, HTML, CSS, and JS for the front end, and we use CUDA for the training process, to use the GPU for the training process. Here you can see some results of Brahma. Once you launch the application, you can visualize the, this interface to create one mini workspace. This can help you to organize well your datasets and your files. And once you click on your workspace, you can have 3 different zones to upload your images, datasets, and models. You can simply drag and drop to upload that. And once you click on your dataset, you can first visualize it, and you can start to create your model or analyze first before create the model. Once you click in the data analyze, you can get this page, and you can plot one or many columns to visualize it, and custom the axis value as index, date time, or other columns. And at the bottom, you can have some statistical informations for each columns, like the type of your column, missing values, unique values, minimum, maximum, and means. And here are some functions to edit and analyze your datasets. Here you have an example to the heat map. You have an option to choose the target column and maximum variable you want to see in your heat map. And you can choose simply the columns to participate to this process, and you can generate it. And here an example to the 2D PCA. Same here, you can choose which column to participate to this process, and the cluster option to cluster with different colors. Here an example to the feature importance. You can select the target column with the maximum values you want to see in your results, and you can choose also the columns to participate to this process. An example to histogram. You can generate it to each columns. That's it. After the data processing step, you can start to create your model. You have some steps to select. First, the data type. If you have a tabular data, time series data, or images. And you can start to do a supervised learning or unsupervised learning, then machine learning or deep learning. And you have an advisor here, which can help you to choose a best model of machine learning for your dataset. Then you can choose a name and the dataset, and one or many input columns and one or many output columns of same type, which means you can't combine different types in the same training process with actual version of Brahma. Here then you can customize more your model. Here you have an example to the RNN model of deep learning. You can customize the metrics values, the target type. We use a driver to detect automatically the target type, and sometimes it can make mistakes, so you can correct that. The activation out of the target type. Then the loss function you can customize also. Early stop you can activate or disable it, and then epochs and some parameters for the RNN model. Then once you launch the training process, you can visualize the current stage with the estimated time, and you can stop also the process. So once your model is created, you can select your model to visualize the metadata of your model and use it. Like information of metadata, you can visualize the dataset used for this model, the input columns and output columns. These two, we have to remove it. The time for the training process, the epochs, and some metrics here to after the training process of the model. And you can plot the training plots with the loss function and metrics. This can help us to increase or decrease the epochs for your model. And we can start to use and test the model by using these buttons and select a data set to the process. Once you launch the testing process, you can get this information, the metrics, with a plot comparing the model's prediction in red color and the true value in blue color. This can help us to understand well. So this is the RNN. So for each index, it tried to predict for the in future values. So that's the reason for what you can see lots of volumes here. And we can see also here it has a good predictions, but here it has some bad predictions. So the plots can help us and most user-friendly to understand the model. And it will automatically save the results of the tests in the metadata. This can allow us to compare the performance of model between other datasets. And you can use your model and get a CSV file with the input values and model's prediction as the output and export it. Here you have an example to the MLP model. It has the same template with the metrics and the plot. That's it. And the CNN model, you can get some information like total image used for this process, the correct predictions and the wrong predictions with the total accuracy. And you can visualize the model's answers to, the model simulation for each images with its confidence and an indicator in green color for the correct predictions and in red color with the wrong predictions. So here you can see that the confidence of the model for this image is 0.57 because maybe we have a human here, and in other image is basically 0.998, etc. So this can help us to understand well the performance of the model also. So here you have an example to the k-means model, to the unsupervised learning. In actual version of Brahma, we have only two models, k-means and isolation forest. And an example to the advisor, it tried to train one or many models of machine learning and give us the best model, have the best performance to the dataset with the metrics. And that's it. So the conclusion is Brahma is just a proof of work. We can create a model, a deep learning model or a machine learning model. We can use a GPU through the training process. We can do a data processing, model testing. It's user friendly, and we are working in progress. Some bugs still need to be fixed and improved. What is next? We have to complete our process to try to get the sensors data, to collect the sensors data and save it on the database, and at the same time use a model to predict the future failures possible. And we are also trying to make Brahma as open source to other people's or other research units have faced same problem like us. And here you have some context to talk about the Brahma.
Thank you, Deva. That's really interesting. And so I'm happy to moderate some questions. If people want to raise their hand, I can take a look and see who's asked first, and then I can let you speak.
Yeah, hi, Deva. This is very interesting. But when you say for what's coming up next, for the next steps, so for use in the ecotron with the sensors, what did you mean with predicting values? Is it like to see if a sensor, for example, a temperature trend is what you would expect, or whether there is a malfunction, or what do you mean by predicting?
The model, yes, the sensors for each component, and to understand well all the parameters of climate cells, and by collecting this data, we can train a model behind it. It's just for collect more data. That's it, of the climate cells.
So you started your presentation saying that with the digital twin, you can maybe help finding out when there's a malfunction in, for instance, the temperature regulation. So at this point in the development of your digital twin, do you already have an example where the digital twin actually helped you to find out where was the cause of malfunction?
Actually not, because we don't have the important data to find out what is a real problem to the malfunction. So we have to collect more data. That's the reason for what we have to collect the data from the sensors and the components to get the principal parameter to that.
Okay. And then a follow-up question. You say you want to make it open source. Is it something that you have talked to somebody in AnaEE or maybe even the data modeling center about, that the data modeling center could maybe help sharing this to the AnaEE community?
Yeah, maybe, but I didn't contact these peoples.
Okay, but it's something we should bear in mind. It's very interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, and we have Adriano Palma here, who's head of the Data Modeling Center. So maybe if he's here, he could say whether or not that's something he'd be competent with.
Yeah, sure. Of course, very interesting presentation. And yes, if there will be the need to make this Brahma open source, we can definitely collaborate and understand how would be the best possibility to do that. Yes, with the AnaEE resources and digital resources.
Okay.
Nice. It's exciting. Karel, I can see you have a question.
Yeah, thank you very much for a nice presentation. When we are developing neural network models, we are dealing with the complexity of data. Usually we are using it for multifactorial experimental data, and it needs to solve it by reducing the complexity, for example, using the PCA and so on manually. and also to play with the architecture of neural network. So how it is solved in Brahma? It's done automatically, or you should do these steps before, care for the problems with overtraining, or it's solved in this case?
In actual version to the deep learning process, we can only use the normalizer, but the PCA, we can't use it. Maybe we can try to update this. But in machine learning process, we can create a pipeline with the PCA, and the pipeline will be saved as model. And once you try to use it, the pipeline will apply the standard scalar or the normalizer and the PCA, and it can do all this process with the pipeline. But for the deep learning process, the PCA, we can't use it for actual stage.
So it's probably better to care first before you use for your data to reduce the complexity, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I have to think about it. Yeah.
Super. Adriano, I see you have a question.
Yes, and also seeing the architecture you showed, of course, coming back to the AnaE possibility to make it open source. Of course, I suppose is also a tool, Brahma, that enable people to use, researchers to use data-driven models, machine learning models, and deep learning models in any kind of field of research, also for I don't know, pest detection through remote sensing. So not only for cells and enclosed systems, but for any kind of field. Is it correct?
Yes, we can use it for any type of fields. Yes. Other questions?
Super. I think there's no more questions. So we'll thank you again, Deva, for a wonderful presentation. And I'm sure if people think of any more questions, then they can reach out to you or they can reach out to me and I can put you both in contact.
Yeah, sure.
So nice. Before I let you all go, I just want to remind you of the AnaEE Scientific Conference that we're having in September in Montreux. And there will be, Adriano will be hosting a data modeling workshop. And of course, the Technology Centre will be hosting a TechUp workshop. So I think it'll be really interesting for a lot of you guys to be there. There's a lot of other interesting science that will happen. So if you go on our website, you'll find the scientific conference and you'll find the link to register from our website. Yeah, thanks again, Deva. And I hope you all have a lovely day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.